The potency of a person is in his thoughts. So let me give you an example. The mind of a person, whatever it is thinking about, it gets imprinted on the composition of your blood. It happens instantly. You see, that's what the blood substance is. Some holy scriptures say that this is the life force of a person. It's like a membrane, very sensitive membrane. It's all connected to your mentality. So if you feel angry, adrenaline comes into your blood. Envy, you get some poison into your blood. You start suffering from your own emotions. It all comes from the mind. So that's how I found out the formula of love. So C8, H12, and nitrogen. So memorize this formula. It's like a drug. So once you fall in love, this drug is produced in your blood. So you look like a real addict. You know, such people, they don't need anything else. They're totally addicted. If an object neglects them, they're going through a lot of pain. They need it on the physical platform. So it's mind, blood, you see, they're all connected. If a woman is bearing a child, so this child is actually produced out of her blood. So that means that this child is formed from her mentality. You know, emotions, thoughts, food, and state of mind. So this person is born with some understanding of life, inborn qualities. They all come from mother and from father, of course. So it's all these qualities are transferred through blood. So if you take a tree, it's standing on one place, it's raining, the sun is shining. You see, this tree, it may produce so many different substances. Like a lemon tree, it gives you this lemon juice. But we can even eat someone's liver or something, because we don't understand how this mechanism works. One doctor has told me something. He says that a human can live for so many years, much longer than we do right now, more than 100 years, and not to get old so fast. So it's even possible that you don't age almost at all. But the point is that one or two mechanisms that work for destruction in our bodies, they work against us. So we don't know how to deal with these two mechanisms. We don't know how to recover these two mechanisms that destroy us. So now we know children are born with the oncology or diabetes. So we see a lot of horrible things these days. It seems like we don't get enough of nutrients with the food we eat. So the point is that we have to improve the food, the water quality. It's a natural thing. So for the air, we have special aroma, special aroma liquids. So you see what we are working on. So if we do not accept our destiny, we produce something artificially. We produce all these substances. So we actually intervene into this natural law. There are no chemical fruits on the trees, right? So it's all been predefined. It's all predefined by our inadequate desires, because we think that we are above the nature. We think that we can exploit nature and break its laws and control it the way we want. So wise men, they've never done that. They would never destroy nature's laws. So that's why we say aborigines. They're so primitive. They just work on soil, on land. Well, if you don't cultivate land, there'll be no food. Now people don't want to do even that. We use some modern technologies. Make some holes in land, put something in there. So it's all made artificial. It's artificial intelligence, artificial emotions. senses artificial life. And we think that this is our life, but it's not, it's artificial. So a few words about comfort. So once one great holy king, he was in charge of the planet, so he was looking for the holiest person ever. So that's the responsibility of every king to take care of the holy people. So now we have to do the same thing, find holy people and take care of them. So he's seen one person in the forest. He was lying on the floor. A fat guy, somewhere in dense forest. Well, but this one was really strange and weird. Most of the yogis and ascetics, they're skinny, but this one was fat. So took a look at this person. He understood that, this person does not work. He only practices yoga or meditate. He's got no responsibilities. He's an outcast. So then the question is, why is he fat? So then he started asking this person, like, I'm sorry, I know that you live here as a monk, so you're trying to find the essence of life, but why are you so fat? Do you think it was a correct question? Polite question? Like, you just go ahead and ask someone, like, why are you so fat? Of course, the person will get offended. But this question was really important. So where do you get this food from? For an outcast. He said, yeah, I've been practicing Ajagara Vritti. There's a method of yoga. Ajagara Vritti means way of life of a python. You know, python never moves. He just digests food. It doesn't move so much. No legs or hands. It cannot run as fast as cheetah. But he's got some special status, like super abilities. It looks into your eyes and you understand that he needs to eat. He doesn't tell, you just feel it. He just looks at you, moving towards you, and then you just, I think he wants to eat. He just swallows you. So he says, this person, he says, the food comes to me by itself. I've learned how to do it. He's a vegetarian, right? He does not eat anything. Well, yeah, sometimes people bring me some delicious food, sometimes not really, sometimes I don't eat at all. But how did this food come to you? Because I meditate on the oneness that provides all the living beings with all the necessary things. Food, air, water, everything. Because I meditate on the Absolute, because it's in charge of everything. I am a child. I mean, it's power. That's a qualification, of course, his thoughts, right? So if we think so highly, so anything can come to you by itself. If we have talent and qualification of an artist or a healer, same thing. If we have this qualification, all the rest of the things, they will come to you. Clients, money, glory. If we don't have this qualification, we start fighting for the place under the sun. And this civilization loses its qualification. So the situation becomes more and more acute. The laws of life have been becoming more and more severe because we're not qualified anymore. So what is it that I can do and what is it that I cannot? So there's one serious problem in a human's destiny, life, his self-esteem, whatever it is that I think of myself. So it's really important to understand who I am and what I can do. You know, as a rule, people think that in the future I'll become this and that. Yeah, I've been trying to do something, but in the future, I will become someone. In intelligent people, they say, it's like, it's like something that was given to you before, but you can use it anymore. So you go to a hotel, you order the best room in a hotel, the most expensive one. So it's like, I'm in the future, I'm telling to myself, in the future, I'll be very rich, so I will pay you when I get rich for this hotel room. I don't think they will give you this room. So you gotta understand who you are. So we evaluate ourselves according to the future that I want to become, or what I want to become in the future. But we have to understand who I am right now. And the circumstances of events, they should not worry us. You cannot escape your destiny. This is not our concern. And how many fruits I will get, money, it's not of my concern. My concern is to perform my duty. And it doesn't matter how much I will get paid. So you got it. You just have to attract the fortune. The more you want to get money, the less you get paid. The less you want to have money, the more you will get paid. We're becoming more and more egoistic in this culture because everyone lives separately. So we can't even talk to our parents anymore. Sometimes we are ready to get divorced even if we have children. That's our culture, the modern culture. And we read all these ancient books, all the scriptures. So remember when a husband died, so his wife would go to fire. She would enter the fire and die together with her husband. Of course, they don't do it anymore. So a woman, she couldn't live without a husband. So there's the third level of love described in Vedas. There are 7 levels. When a couple cannot live without each other, so one dies, another one dies as well. It's only the 3rd level, but there are 7 of them. Now we have only 2 levels of love. So kama means lust. So we feel lust to the opposite sex, opposite gender, and we have connection. Well, sometimes we can't even use kama, so we have lots of different relationships. Yeah, we spend some time in nightclubs, of course, and kama gets awakened. When you dance, you show your body. Lust, and people get closer to each other very easily. Not for long, of course, because there's no responsibility or basis for the marriage. No obligations, but karma does its thing. But another level of love is when a man lords it over a woman. So, because he wants to have a wife, being totally in charge of his life, like doing everything he wants. So now we have only these 2 levels of love. And the 3rd level of love is when people have very strong feelings. If one dies, another cannot live without the spouse. We've heard about Romeo and Juliet. So in these relationships, they inspire people. So the level of civilization is defined by these 7 levels of love. The lower the level of love, the lower the development of the civilization. So back in time, we used to have wooden toilets, now something else, right? So that's the level of our civilization. Of course, if we can balance it out, we can balance the modern technologies together with the Vedic knowledge. And of course, we may get so prosperous, never heard before. So if you unite spiritual knowledge together with the material, so this planet will prosper. And of course, there is a tendency to this knowledge. It's just, we have to understand that we're not supposed to live just for the sake of that, for the sake of sensual gratification. So you see, we've created so many things now that we cannot live without, and we think that we'll be able to get rid of them. We don't need cell phones. You can understand a person even on distance when you have some special siddhas. We thought that, back in time they were not developed. They didn't even need these cell phones or space aircrafts. They could fly, read your mind, just thanks to the meditation. You can get any skills thanks to the meditation. They could walk on water like it's nothing. See, back in time, people were developing themselves, but not artificial things. Right now, we have lost ourselves, our potency, the elevation, the strength of our mind and memory. We've lost a lot of things. So in these difficult times, the strongest medicine we are given, chanting of the holy names of God. You see how easy it is? It's not like worshiping in a temple, or sacrifices, or Ashtanga yoga that we cannot even start practicing in this life. You can't even find a special place for Ashtanga yoga. In the age of Kali, where there are so many obstacles and influences, negative influences, so the strongest and the purest method is given to purify your consciousness. It's chanting the God's holy names, meditation on the sound. You become elevated if we chant these names. So the qualities of God, we develop the same qualities as God has. You see, why is it so hard for us? All of us, we have tongue, right? Without bones. So chant it. But people say, oh, I don't know. Why should I do that? People say it doesn't help. You're right, but you know what? When mantra starts working, when you have some relationships with God. If someone can chant mantra and can enter these relationships, they're very fortunate. That's enough. If you can't, you need to have tantra. You have to deserve it through your hard labor or getting knowledge or controlling your senses, some spiritual practices. But if there are relationships, you just ask, and you are given what it is that you ask for. See, the point is that when you know someone and you ask him to help you, he will. But a person that you don't know, he doesn't know, he will never help you, right? So it's about personal relationships. So we think that we live in a terrible world just because we have no relationships. It's like an abandoned child in a big city. So it starts and cries. It's crying and screaming. Only with mother, right? He needs his mama. It's interesting that when I was saying these things in Georgia, when I was in Georgia, in Tbilisi, it was interesting that I was saying that mantra only works when you have some relationships. And I gave him this mundane example. So if I am coming back home from my job and I'm calling to my wife or daughter, I say, okay, I'll be home in 30 minutes. Can you cook something for me? You come back home and your dinner is ready. Well, of course, people say, this is your daughter, right? But if I come up to someone just, just in the street, and I will ask him, like, can you cook something for me? They will get afraid. But there was one woman in the hall. She said, no, it's not true. She said that, you can ask anyone in Tbilisi and they will cook for you. They will cook dinner for you. You see, this mantra works in Tbilisi. Turns out like that. Just like here on this festival, ask anyone to give you some food and they will. They feed you. So there are some places that it works. There are some places that it doesn't. It all depends on our relationships. So we have to do whatever we can. So if we try to make an effort, once we make an effort, we are going to be forgiving everything, all our mistakes and illusions, everything. You just get on the path of spirituality. So it turns out we're not supposed to be fighting or competing with each other. You just gotta learn what it's like to live in a family. Well, I understand that this process is very eventual, step by step. So we have some friends and relatives, right? But one step is worth 100 steps. So make just first step. So circumstances or events, they may not even change in life. But the happiness is different already. In order to prove it, I'm going to give you an example, but it's all been proven to me already. So food can be sanctified or not sanctified. So food is given by the nature, by God. But we have to sanctify it by ourselves, because this is my purpose. First, I offer it to God, and only after that I can eat it. So cook this food with love, without eggs, fish, or meat, pure food, without tasting it, for God, with this consciousness. Then sanctify it, offer it, and then eat it. You'll see for yourself the way it works. You see, the same food that we eat, but cook it with love and offer it to God with love. It will change your life forever. Instantly. People will never even understand it in 100 lives. You'll get such a great realization. Actually, that's how I got on this path. Once I've just tried this spiritual food, the sanctified food, and it worked. I didn't have a higher education. I'm giving lectures, you see. That's it. Is it hard to eat your way through in life? You just gotta find the right food. Breathe the air, same things. But the consciousness is different. So that's our purpose. Live at another level. Your heart, your mind, everything should be above. But here, see the same thing. Why is it so important? So there are two wagons. The one is like luxurious stuff, right? The other one is just an ordinary one. So this luxurious one is actually detached from the engine. But this, the common one, the cheapest one, it is coupled with the engine, but it's going to get you the destination you need. So which wagon, which car would we choose? Well, we gotta get on the cheapest one because it will take me to my destination, but subconsciously we choose the luxurious one. Even though it will not take me to where I wanted to go. It's like you're sitting in this wagon and you're waiting for someone. You're waiting for it to take you somewhere. We just sit there and wait for happiness. Same thing with you all over again. You go to work, come back from your job, work, eat, sleep, reproduce. So people, they don't trust anyone anymore, even men and women. You see what kind of culture there used to be in the past? Man, if he had promised something to a woman, he would always do that. Otherwise, he wasn't considered to be a man. And you see, people weren't given any documents, just your word. So if you say, I want you to be my wife, she says, yes, I'll be your wife. And that's enough. As simple as it is. The word was enough. Now we need a stamp. You see, there are so many documents these days because words mean nothing these days. Jesus used to say, forgive and you will be forgiven. He didn't say like, oh, I'm sorry, I said something wrong, I'm taking my words back. No. It's the law for 2,000 years. That's the power of the word. Of course, our destiny is built with the help of the word. So, which words we pronounce, that's how our relationships build. If we use bad words, bad destiny. Good words, good destiny, elevated purpose, spiritual words, spiritual life. Evil words. Evil words are the predecessors of the death, sign of death. So you have to understand that we have to be using only good words, even on just the surface, because it's dangerous to use bad words. Your words, they kill you, they destroy you. Especially concerns women, because for women it's harder to control the language. Very often do they ruin their lives with the tongues. So that's why chant the names of God using your tongue. Especially when you are in trouble, when your mind is so scattered. So try to recall who God is and pronounce His names. So that's what it's expected from a person, to solve all the questions, all the problems with spiritual knowledge, not by deception, but using the higher forces through this person's higher will. That's the destiny of a person. Hard but beautiful. Always. It's always difficult. But anyways, it's beautiful. So you may be crying and be happy at the same time. That's how people live. So I've just given you like a short review, maybe some questions.
Космос. Как принять такими, как они есть?
So how do we accept objects as they are?
Один вариант полететь в космос, но это нам не годится.
Например, есть такое выражение Чинаки Пандита.
So, for example, there's an expression said by Chinakya
Вы можете
Pandit.
поднять даже из нечистого места.
Gold can be lifted even from a dirty place, contaminated place.
Есть нечистое место, скажем, прямо испражнение.
There's a dirty
Никто не
place,
касается испражнения.
like feces. No one touches feces, right? No one needs it.
Там золото можете взять.
But if there's gold, well, you will lift
Итак,
it.
в каждом человеке есть какая-то ценность.
So every person has
Почему
some
нужно принять вот такие
precious
покупки?
thing inside, some value.
Там заложено либо потенциально, либо имеется какая-то
So
ценность.
potentially it is there. It is inside of
Вот
us.
нам нужно распознать вот эту
So you have
ценность.
to
Как
recognize,
в этом случае космонавт. Он
in every
думает, что он
person.
прекрасный артист, хороший человек.
like a spaceman, for example.
Это из-за меня?
Is it because of me?
Это из-за вас.
No, it's because of you.
Это все из-за вас. Так,
It's all because of you.
Это понятный ответ.
So do you understand
Ну,
my
теперь вы
answer?
скажите, как вы видите эту ценность?
So now you tell me how
Как
we
вы
see
думаете,
this
на ваш взгляд,
value,
что
this
больше
precious
ценить,
thing.
хорошего или плохого?
So what do you think? We all have more
Да?
good
Или
stuff or
по-разному?
bad stuff.
Вот как вы определите?
So how do you
Ваша
define
оценка, ваш опыт жизни.
your value, your life experience? See, we've seen both bad and good. But every bad person in our understanding is liked by someone. So probably he's got some qualities. So how do we define it? Either this person has more bad or good things. So wise men, they said that person has more good things. The question is, how can we see that? Because sometimes when we have some bad qualities, they just overshadow all the good qualities inside. Usually enemy or foe, it's just the imagination of our mind. There are no enemies or friends. We're all one family. We don't need friends to fight enemies. It's just a demonic consciousness. So there's a good Georgian movie, a Soviet one. So the short movie, like an educational movie. So there's a there's a black apartment. Block with apartments, like a tall building, skyscraper, and so there are two neighbors living next to each other. One is a musician, another one was working with wood, the other one was a musician, and they were just getting on each other's nerves because they could hear what every one of them was doing. So they started hammering to walls, screaming, complaining. But then every time when they got outside, they met each other, they become friends, because they didn't know where they actually lived. So the friendship is developing, but the animosity is developing as well. And you know what it's got into? Sometimes they would just, some of them would just leave his tools working at home and left so it could make some loud noises. And then, so they started making holes in the walls. And they saw each other through this hole. So this is just the imagination of our mind. Our mind makes up all these things. This is an artificially created relationships of people. But you see, there's no such notion as enemy or friend in nature. So the earth is just one. We breathe the same air. We have the same sun. Everyone eats same food. We are all the same. And in Puranas, there's one very interesting verse. I've read it recently. So they said the illusion is such an interesting thing that a person thinks that this is me and all of them are just they. Me and they. So each and every one of us is also me. Because every one of us wants to be treated the same way. So that's why you treat everybody the way you want to be treated by them. It concerns all the living beings. We have no right to dominate one living being or harm any living beings. No violence. We have no right for that. If we do that, we do not follow our purpose. So then you get incarnated again. Again and again and again. That's how you get into samsara. You cannot get out of it. So until we get elevated above the level of friendships and animosity. So this is our purpose. To elevate ourselves. And it all starts from food. I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Были на Луне или не были на Луне все-таки?
And so the question is about the moon.
Я вот точно не был на Луне, поэтому...
Have
Но я могу сказать, что я
people
слышал, знаете,
actually
когда
been to the
в
moon, or they haven't?
1985 году.
But I can tell you
В
what.
1982 или 3 году.
So in 1982 or 83,
Мне было тогда лет 25.
so I was like 25 back then.
Мы были студентами.
So we were students.
А друг мой тоже был студентом, и он работал
So one of my friends, he was
в
also a
Академии
student,
наук СССР.
and he was working in the Academy of Sciences of the USSR
Работал гардеробщиком.
as a wardrobe man,
Подрабатывал.
you
Ну,
know,
поскольку, ну, это
making
советские
some side
времена,
money.
поэтому
and
там все друг друга знают. И он
as
иногда посещал
These
эти
were Soviet
собрания.
times, so he would
Научные какие-то собрания, либо там слышал, либо
he would attend some meetings
То есть по
where
знакомству
people were
удовольствие
discussing
получил. Он еще
things.
тогда принес исследования по йоге,
So that's how he brought some studies of yoga, chakras, about Yeti also, Bigfoot, and UFOs, you know, some fresh news. And back then it was something totally
Это в Академии наук СССР все это обсуждалось.
unexpected.
И также рассказал мне, как обсуждались полеты на Луну.
And also he told me all this information about the
Я
moon,
сейчас вкратце расскажу то,
the
что
flight to the moon.
да, 80.
So let me just explain what I've heard shortly.
Армстронг один был космонавт.
So one of them, one of the spacemen was Armstrong, right? And there
И
was
вот они
another one.
рассказывают, там они обсуждают на этом совете то, что не публикуется. Информация 82 года.
So the information dates back to the 1982.
Они вышли на орбиту Земли.
So they went
Так, значит, какой-то год,
to the
82 год.
orbit.
Еще не было электронной техники, помните?
So there was no
Была
electronic,
ламповая техника, так?
there were no electronic devices, right?
Значит,
On
нужно
the
было
lamps.
запустить эту аппаратуру ламповую туда, наверх.
So you needed to, right, to send all
Которая
these
деформировалась при нагревании
devices
лампы, там она
there
барахлила часто, там контакты вот эти
to the
все, там
space.
телевизор нужно было такой сверху. И так он
Do you remember
наваливался.
sometimes
Вот,
you
это
know,
вот
we had
при
these
тех-то обстоятельствах.
TV sets working on
Но
lamps.
они вылетели на
Sometimes when it
орбиту,
didn't work, we just
хотя
smash them with
кто-то
the
говорит, что у них не было
fist.
двигателя тогда в то время еще, чтобы лететь на орбиту, как раз еще
You know,
двигателей
some
не было,
people say
поэтому
that they didn't even have engines
он не
to
был еще изготовлен.
launch the
Ну,
rockets
кто-то
into
говорит так, ну,
space.
хорошо, вылетели.
But, you know, it doesn't matter.
Как
Okay.
они вылетели?
So they're there
Двигатель.
in the space. So
И
how did they do that?
два человека на борту,
So two
два
men
иллюминатора.
on board,
И
two windows.
когда мы были на орбите,
And
именно над Маврикием это случилось. Кто-то
it
говорит.
happened on above the
Поступил
Mauritius.
сигнал из
So they got a
центра,
signal from the center,
сесть в
the space
кресло,
control center,
значит, сейчас будет срываться на Луну,
to get back into the chairs, and then they will start flying to the moon. So these two spacemen, they say, okay, we just follow the instructions. So they got in the chairs, they got strapped, they press the button.
Мы прилипли, говорит, в кресло там,
Okay.
пошла
So then
тяга,
the
всё как
spaceship
ожидается,
started
двигатель
moving
работает.
faster.
Мы
The engine
рванули
started working.
куда-то. Вот вопрос куда?
So we started moving somewhere. The
Куда
question
мы
is
летим?
somewhere.
Летим.
Where?
Надо же
Where we
там
flying to?
целиться надо, знаете, чтобы точно попасть.
So you see, we need
Одно
to
дело, когда
have
мы
some
так тут
aim, like a
обсуждаем, у нас
target.
тут тепло, тут
Well,
подвал,
here
тут
you see when
река,
we are
тут
discussing
вода,
it, you know, it's
пища,
warm,
всё,
there's
что
a river,
дети
food,
наши
everything we
ждали.
need.
Но другое дело, когда
But the
мы
other
там
thing
забиты
is
в
when
бездну куда-то, как
you are there
сумасшедшие.
in a spaceship, you fly just somewhere you don't even know where.
Ну, тяга, говорит, кончилась, скорость набрали.
Okay, so we started
Кто-то
accelerating.
из них расстегивает ремень,
So one of them
идет к иллюминатору,
straps his
посмотреть, что
belt,
происходит. И
approaching
волосы
the
поднимаются, говорит, у меня
window,
кружатся дыбом.
and then his
Страх
hair
сильнейший.
stood up. He got really scared.
Вот. Но я инструкцию знаю, я молчу. То есть надо молчать. Не паника, не
But Armstrong says, okay, I know the instructions, so I just keep quiet.
А что я, говорит, там увидел? Страшного.
So what did I see there?
Земля уменьшилась в размеры, говорит.
So the Earth, it really shrank.
Да, мы летим.
So I got so scared. I was like, oh my God, where are we going
И
to?
мысли начинали
To some
вращаться.
abyss.
Как, насколько я помню, это Армстронг рассказал эти мысли.
So Armstrong was
Мысли стали вращаться.
expressing his thoughts.
Это же вселенная Бога.
Started
Вот
having-
какие-то законы
Started
Бога.
having
Вот
these
я
thoughts.
что-то
This
делал.
the
Вот
universe,
Бога никогда
this
не
universe
было.
belongs to
И
God.
там в космосе вот эти
We're
мысли
just violating His laws right
были
now.
навязчивыми, что мы нарушаем закон
So
Бога.
these
Нам отведена роль
Thoughts
здесь.
they were telling me
Должны
constantly,
себя
we are
здесь.
violating
Должны
God's
быть
laws.
здесь.
We gotta find
Там
ourselves
летим,
here
зачем
on
мы
this
летим?
planet. Why are we flying there?
Вот этот ужас сменился каким-то вопросом
So
большим
this
глобальным, какой-то, что это ошибка какая-то
terror,
серьезная.
It's gotten full control of
И
my
затем
thoughts,
он
he said.
увидел
And then he saw
человека за бортом.
a human
бородой,
of board
длинной,
with a
цвет
long
волоса у него,
beard,
темные
long
глаза,
hair,
трусы ниже колен большие.
some,
Идет на Луну тоже.
trunks, walking to the
машет
moon
рукой,
in the space,
улыбается.
waving to them.
По описанию подробному выяснили
According
русские,
to
что Порфирий
description,
Кириллович Иванов там гулял в то время. Там где-то тоже.
The Russians have realized that
Господи.
there was someone they knew.
Ну, тот несчастный космонавт, значит, уже все,
So that
окончательно поверил в Бога.
Spaceman, he started praying
И
to
молчит,
God,
просто молчит. потому что
crossing,
нельзя
or just
рассказывать
keeping
эти
quiet
вещи
because,
никому.
he couldn't tell these things to anyone
А
else.
тот тоже молчит у иллюминатора.
The other
Тоже
one
странно
was
описал
also
его.
keeping quiet, totally stuck
Вот
to
у
the
него тоже
window,
эмоции, значит,
looking
и
through
что
the
он
window
видит?
into the space.
Видит ангела,
So he saw an angel
сияющего, и за собой такой
Shining.
шлейф света оставляет. Пролетает тоже на Луну.
So
тоже
shining,
тоже привет.
flying away,
Вот. И тот, и
passing
другой
away,
подумали, что сходят с ума, и
leaving some
молчат.
tracks behind him.
И вот я это
So
слышу
both
от
of
моего
them, they were
друга,
just keeping quiet.
и вспоминаю. Я когда учился в школе еще раньше, значит,
So
закончил
now I'm
школу
hearing it
в
from my friends, and I'm
1978 году.
recalling when I was a student,
1978 или 1977 год.
was it
Урок
the
физики. Нам
1977 or
показали
76?
мультфильм про полет в
Was
космос
physics
американцев.
class, and I saw a
Учитель
cartoon
физики.
how
Те же
Americans
самые
made
события
it to the
показали в
moon.
мультфильме.
So the
Что
same
одному
events
привиделся
were shown in a
человек с зонтом,
cartoon.
а другому ангел светящийся.
So one saw an angel, the other one saw
С
a
юмором.
man with beard, but
Что
with
ангел
humor.
ха-ха-ха,
So
помахал
it was kind of a
рукой.
humorous thing, you
Вот.
know.
И что же там? Вот такая была тема. А совпало.
So that was the topic. So you see,
То, что
it's
мне эти мультфильмы
coincided.
на уроке в школе
What
нам
we
показали
saw
про
in
полет
this cartoon
американцев на
at
Луну.
school
Иронически это все прозвучало. То есть русские
was
тогда
really
не верили,
ironic.
что полетели на Луну.
The Russians, of course, they didn't believe
И
in
запустили
anything.
луноход, помните?
Remember, Russians,
Нам
they
показали, как
they've
луноход полетел
launched
на Луну, мультфильм показали.
the moonwalker.
Ну, мультфильм. И все поверили, я вот помню.
Yeah, so we
Вот
saw this
вопрос.
cartoon and we believed in everything.
Вот вопрос. в чём. Это я уже позже подумал. А тогда даже не было. Мы так верили в науку, знаете, что
So you see,
все мы видели, что
We believed, we
там
trusted
какая-то
science
игрушка
so
там
much back then.
летит, и кто-то
So
снял
we
её
were
там
shown
на
this
фоне
moonwalker
чёрном.
walking on the moon
И так мы
surface.
получили впечатление, что луноход,
So
значит,
that's how
на
we got
Луне,
these
американцы
impressions.
тоже были на Луне. Но когда русские признали, что они были на Луне, когда американцы признали, что луноход русских полетел,
But you see,
тогда
when
они вместе согласились
Russians
оба с обеих сторон, что мы были на Луне, и вы были на Луне. Всё
accepted that Americans have made it to the moon, only when Americans accepted that
А
Russians
затем, что
had
они
launched
говорят,
the
американцы,
moonwalker on the moon.
вот это видение было, а потом, что самое
But after
страшное,
that,
что их остановило, в
the
принципе,
scariest thing why
черное тело,
they
не
stopped
отражающее
doing all
света,
these
стало
things
приближаться к ним,
it was a
увеличиваться,
black body
закрывающее
reflecting
звездное
no
небо.
light, covering the starry
Они
sky,
поняли, что какое-то небесное
So
тело,
they
не отражающее свет
realized
Луны,
that there was some
поглощающее свет Луны. В Ведах написано, это планета Раху.
sky body
Есть такая темная
having no reflection. This is the Rahu planet, a mystic planet.
такого тонкого происхождения.
It's got a thin origin.
Голова демона Раху.
It's the Rahu's head.
И вот они увидели
He's a
какое-то
demon.
черное тело,
So they
которое
saw this
приближается,
black
и вот
body
они уже
approaching
на ручное
them,
управление перейдя, вернулись
and then
обратно.
they manually got
Вот,
back.
вот этот рассказ, который я слышал.
So that's the story I've
Все,
heard.
что я слышал о полете на Луну.
That's all I've heard about the flight to the moon.
Это райская планета.
But moon is the heaven,
Лунный свет
heavenly planet.
источник сока в овощах.
The moonlight is the source of the juice in the plants
Как Луна может быть без жизни?
and grass. How can it be
Только жизненной силы.
without life? It's got so much
Солнце тоже
life
населенная
power.
планета, только там другие тела уже в их
So the sun is also inhabitant.
на Ведах.
It's just the
Не на воде основана жизнь, а на огне.
living beings are different,
Огненные тела.
not based on water but on fire. Okay, fiery bodies. So what?
А на Луне в эфирных телах люди живут.
But on the moon they live in
Поэтому это высшая планета.
ether bodies.
И на самом деле Луна дальше, чем Солнце.
But matter of fact, the moon is even farther away than the sun.
А как вы попадете на Луну? По расстоянию не попадете.
So how do you get to the moon?
Через Солнце.
Just measuring the distance? No, it's impossible. Just you have to cross the
Через
sun.
Солнце должны пройти, получить определенный доступ.
Only
через Солнце,
crossing
только
through the
потом на Луну
sun's
попасть.
sphere. Only after that you can get on the moon,
Дальше Луна.
because the moon is even
В этом смысле слова.
farther away than the sun.
Не пространство и время определяет уровни планетных
It's not about
систем.
space and time
Благочестие.
that define the levels of planets. Only the piousness
Даже дерево
does.
по благочестию выше человека.
Even trees
Скажем,
sometimes
отдает
is
бескорыстно
more
тень,
pious than a man.
фрукты,
Gives you
листву,
shadows, fruits,
деньги,
leaves,
древесину дает, все отдает, бескорыстно.
and wood also. Just gives you
А человек только про
selflessly.
себя всё.
But a person
Это
only
точки
thinks
зрения,
about
дерево
himself.
выше.
From this point of view, a tree is even
То
higher.
есть разные есть точки зрения на мир.
See, there are different
С платформы
points of view on this
благости
world.
это одно.
From the
С точки
platform of
зрения
piousness,
страсти
that's
другое.
one thing.
С
From the
уровня
platform of
совершенно
passion,
другое.
another thing. From
Как мы
ignorance,
смотрим,
another.
какими гунами смотрим, каким сознанием смотрим.
Depends on which gunas we're in.
И есть призыв в Ведах посмотреть на мир через гуну благости.
So we gotta look at this
Не
world
через
through the
эгоизм.
guna of
Если я не могу жить в этом теле на солнце, значит, на солнце жизни нет.
goodness.
Это я через себя, через свой эгоизм рассматриваю.
So I see the sun and I say, no, there's no life in there just because I don't see it. No, this is really egoistic and
Измерений не
silly.
существует в этой вселенной.
There are so
Возможно
many
даже
different
представить, что такое
dimensions.
вселенная.
You can't even
А мы
imagine what the
так торопимся
universe
с моими
is.
успехами, с моими компьютерами и интернетом.
Just because we have these computers and the internet, we think that we know something.
Человек стал гордый, поэтому
Person has become very
ест убиенных животных.
proud. That's why he kills
Это
animals
продукт гордости,
and eats them. That's the product of their ego.
его высокомерие.
He is
А ведь это наши меньшие братья.
egoistic values.
И зверье, как братьев наших меньших, никогда не бил по голове. Братьев наших меньших никогда не бил по голове. Это
The animals are like our brothers. We can't kill them.
Наше время истекло или есть?
So is time up?
Да. Как правильно определить мой уровень сознания? С
So
чего
how to
начать?
define my
А это
level of
определяется
consciousness?
словом дхарма,
What I
долг.
start with? It's about dharma, your duty.
Нам нужно сейчас с вами просто прояснить за
So
эти
we have
дни,
to
в чем наши обязанности.
clarify,
И выполнять эти обязанности.
You know these days what our duties are, and just perform
Например,
them.
можно составить список
So,
наших
for example,
отношений,
you make a
которые есть
list
уже
of our
сейчас.
relationships
Кто мы
that we already
сейчас,
have.
назовем. Кто-то жена,
So
кто-то
someone
муж.
is a wife, someone is a
На
husband,
работе какая-то есть должность. Это все наши обязанности.
and there's one
Есть
duty
еще братья,
that we have
сестры,
in our
друзья,
job,
не знаю, там
our
что
brothers
еще
and
есть,
sisters and
духовные
friends
какие-то
also.
отношения. Все нужно записать, всю нашу жизнь здесь.
So
И
all
вот это
these
всё
things
нужно
have to be
делать.
listed,
Это и есть наше
and then you perform them. So that's our duty.
Вот на это нужно, на реальность нужно ориентироваться. И посмотрим, что я тут делаю, а что не делаю.
And then you see what I
С
do
чем
and
я
what I
вообще не
don't
справляюсь.
in this life.
Тут выяснится, что я
Well, there are many
не
things
жена
that I cannot
должен,
cope
не
with.
муж, не
And then it
ученик,
turns
не
out
учитель.
not even a husband, like a normal husband or wife. Who am I then?
Оказывается, ничего не умею делать, смотрите. Или делаю не очень хорошо.
So
А
maybe
иногда я делаю
I'm
что-то
just
очень
doing it
хорошо.
not very good. Sometimes I do
Значит, мне нужно
things
научиться
well,
всему этому,
so I
научиться
gotta learn to
жить
do all
своей
these
жизнью,
things
все
properly.
выполнять правильным образом.
I gotta learn how to live
Не
correctly
думая о результатах, что это мне
without
принесет,
thinking of
сколько это мне
results,
принесет, выгоды.
or how much it will bring to me, how much benefit I will
Вот это
get.
развитие.
That's the development.
У нас столько ролей важных в жизни.
So we have so many
Роль
roles in
матери,
this life.
кстати, важна в жизни.
The role of life, I think it's important.
Нужно сделать
The role of
очень
mother.
хорошо, самым наилучшим образом. Роль
So you gotta
отца,
be
роль
mother
мужа,
in the
роль
best
ученика,
way.
роль учителя,
Perform your duties in the
роль мудреца.
best
Если вы
possible
мудрый
way.
человек, вы должны принять на
If
себя
you're a
эти
wise
обязанности
man,
и знать,
you
как
gotta accept all these duties and know how to deal with
быть
them.
мудрым человеком.
Be a wise man.
Для своего ребенка вы должны быть мудрецом.
For
Это
your
ваша обязанность.
child, you gotta be a wise man.
Если вы не мудрец для своего ребенка, то вы не выполняете свои
If
обязанности.
you're not wise, you're
Духовный
not
учитель для своих детей, вы не
performing your
выполняете свои
duties, you
обязанности.
gotta be a spiritual teacher for your children.
И так далее. И вот эти критерии мы можем записать, себя
And all these
проверять,
criteria should be
просто
listed,
ориентироваться,
should be
что
taken
я
down,
успеваю, что не успеваю, что могу, чему я должен учиться,
written
учиться
down,
всю
and
жизнь
then you
должен.
understand
Хорошо, мы
how much
можем,
you
у нас что-то может
qualified.
не получаться,
Because
это другой
something
вопрос.
probably comes difficult.
Это не
I
важно.
don't understand how to do it.
Важно, что всю жизнь я пытался и
Some
учился.
duties.
Вот этот пример
But it's not
важнее
so important.
всего
The point is that
получается.
you've been trying to do that.
Пусть я не во всем удачлив, но
You've been
я
trying
был
to do your
удачлив в том,
best
что
to do
всегда
that.
учился, я всегда прикладывался и выполнял свой долг.
The thing is, I've always
Я оставляю
learned, I've
свою
always
честь.
tried to do that.
И вот эту честь я уже оставляю своим потомкам, друзьям.
And then I leave so many
Уже
things
есть честь
behind
в жизни.
for my
Если даже нет успеха в моей жизни по судьбе, хорошо, но честь.
family, for my children.
Замечательно, замечательно.
You see the way it works?
Ну, наше время истекло на сегодня. Спасибо.
The time is up. Thank you very much.